all on this chair, and that's why I promise I'm not farting. It's the chair. I'm just sitting all the way back. This is kind of cute. Hi. Welcome to my bubble where we do a little bit of adulting, a little bit of healing, and a little bit of creating. If you can't tell by the title, love, we are adulting today, okay? I want to spread my financial literacy with the world, okay? People will tell you you seen that Chase commercial that's like, sell your stocks, love, keep your stocks, love, hold your stocks, love, buy new stocks, love, you know? Everybody, you know how they're like, everybody has financial advice, take advice from our experts. But like experts like to gatehold. They like to gatekeep. Even, YouTube University, there are some girls, particularly some black women out here, period, trying to spread the knowledge and, trying to help the girls get their lives together, help the girls become bosses, But I feel like they're not giving the full details or like fully explaining it in a way that the general public will understand. That's why you got me, love. Period. I'm trying to make everybody feel seen. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm about to tell you what I'm talking about. Okay? Quick background. Me, for a little context. In May of 21, I graduated from college with my bachelor's degree in business administration, specific tracks in finance and marketing. So I took all the financing classes. I took the accounting class. I almost switched my major to accounting. No thanks. Kept in finance, just fine. And marketing gave me the creative aspect. And just further background, like, I've always loved math. I've always been good at math. Like, I literally took calculus junior year of high school and I got 100. Like, I literally ended the class with 100. Either way. We're getting into financial literacy. We're going to start out real easy, real simple. I'm going to teach y'all how to budget. Now, to me, budgeting is a lot more than just having a chart, putting numbers in. Like, there's a lot of logic behind a budget, and because you can be like, okay, I'm going to put $500 here, I'm going to put $600 here, I'm going to keep this $200, and I'm going to buy food every Friday. I'm not going to cook Fridays, so I'm going to spend $50 on food. Like, it's one thing to know what your dollars are needed for, / track where your dollars are going, and it's another thing to have and maintain a budget, to me. So let's get into it, surface level, on how you budget. And we're live. Okay. So this is a blank budget. Yes, this is literally like my budget, like not this one, obviously, because it's blank, but I use the same thing for my personal budget, for my personal finances. Now, quick little tidbit, quick little shameless self-plug. If you need help with your budgeting, you need to know how to set up a budget, get at me. I got you, love. I am doing freelance bookkeeping. So now, perspective, right? Stay with me here. People will be like, well, I don't need a bookkeeper. I don't have a business, right? Me, here's how I look at business in general, right? Businesses like Chase, Apple, everybody has bookkeepers, right? That keep track of the money that they spend on marketing, the money that they spend on production, the money that they spend on whatever. And they keep track of, wow, all of my finance terms are escaping me right now because it's the end of the day and I'm tired. What is it called? Basically, they have money allotted in their balance sheets, in their checkbooks. Jesus. Other than tracking cash flow, they have an allotted amount in the budget for like loss and thievery and blah blah blah, right? But the bookkeeper keeps track of how money is spent and the money that comes in for that business, correct? You as a person you are a business. Even if you're not an influencer, you're not a brand, you're not a, I'm presenting myself and that's how I make money, right? You still have money that you deal with. You have money that comes into your life. You have money that you have to spend on things, correct? Your personal finances need to be kept track of too. So keep track of your books. You need a bookkeeper? I got you. Hit me up. But here's the general overview of it, right? So here's my monthly budget, right? You have a section for income, keep track of what comes in, right? Home expenses, everything to do with keeping a roof over your head. Rent, bills, electricity, blah, blah, blah. Savings should be, ideally, savings is part of everyone's like back burner. Like everyone should have a rainy day fund. Everybody should have this, and this, right? Ideally. So you would want to keep track of that too. You have a section for obligations. Now everyone's number one obligation, student loans. Other obligations you could have in here, credit cards. You can have just really whatever like debts you have to pay back. Me personally, like I borrowed not a bunch of money, but I borrowed some money from my mom to help with me moving here, right? So under obligations, I have that, and I have what it's written for. Just any of your obligations that you were obligated to pay for, right? Daily living. So this is like things that keep me alive and that go into my day-to-day life, right? You gotta eat. You gotta buy groceries. Everyone likes to do a little shopping. Everyone likes to buy a little clothes. It's Friday. Me, number one rule in my house, and even adopted from when growing up, on Fridays, we don't cook, okay? We eat out. We buy food. No one's cooking on Fridays. It's Friday. Dining out. For the girlies that get their hair and nails done regularly, daily living. Add lashes there for those girls. Period. Love that for you. I'm not one of those girls, as you can see. Right? Then you have entertainment, things that you are into. If you're a regular concert goer, if you regularly buy books, you can kind of fill it out how you like, right? Section for travel. Everybody's real into travel post-COVID, you know. Everybody's not just talking about going to all these places. Now they're actually trying to go all these places. Break down each element: travel, hotel, money allotted to food, money allotted to the entertaining things you're going to do there, aka, Lord, you would think I don't go anywhere or do anything because all of the words are escaping me. Like excursions and things, all of that. Speaking of which, if you want to know anything travel related, I have a travel playlist. Go see that. Business expenses. Do you have a business? Do you sell products? Keep track of your inventory. Keep track of your inventory. Keep track of your marketing. Do you pay for shipping? Do the customers pay for shipping? You can keep track of all of that. Transportation. Do you have a car? Put in your car payment. How much you're spending on gas. Have money allotted to maintenance when things go wrong. You know, you always need an oil change. You always need this, and this. If you have a car, you know, it's always something. Or even if you don't have none of that, but you're regularly taking Ubers, put that in there too. Right under that, we have health. Whether it's, you can like track your payments, like if you have external payments, say if your coverage, if your medical insurance, dental, vision isn't through your employer, say like for the influencers or whoever, the same way your grandparents in general who would work the 9 to 5 their entire life would still have to buy life insurance. Imagine an influencer who doesn't have medical, dental, vision through an employer. They have to pay for all of that on top of health insurance, life insurance. On top of health insurance. Jesus, that is all health insurance. On top of life insurance, like all that comes out of pocket. So you can keep track of all of that. Come back over here. Everyone has subscriptions. We live in a streaming time. Everybody has Netflix and or Hulu and or HBO Max and or what else is there? Tubi, BT Plus, everything. So if you can track those all separately, put them all here. You don't necessarily have to, depending on how you pay for them. For example, my 85 South subscription and my 85 South, Apple Music, BET Plus, all does not come out of my debit account. It's charged to my credit card. So I don't keep that as I don't have each line as a separate thing under my subscriptions in my budget. It's all just included in my credit card payment. But that's getting into the logic of it. That's just me, how I handle mine. If you say all of each month your subscriptions come out of the money that is direct deposited into your debit account, right, let's just say that, your debit account, then you can have it as an each item line or however you want to do it. Like I said, if you want to get into personal budgets and you want to get into, let's set up my life, help me organize my life, period, hit me up. The way I go about it, you're not going to need me forever. We're going to get into it. I'm going to teach you how to do it. We'll work through the process of it for a bit of time. And then when I see that you're comfortable with it, or even once you're like, I bet I can do it myself, then we can go our separate ways. But we can get into more details. Email me if you'd like, or hit me up in the comments. We can talk about it. Right, so then you got subscriptions. Back here on the left, we have insurance. Not only do you have to pay for your car, you have to pay, the car has to be insured. Car insurance, life insurance, like I said, home insurance, people who have mortgages and things, and a mortgage can be under obligations or it can be under daily living. You know, there you have options on how you want to set it up. Under that, education, if you're still in school or want to go back to school, have to pay for tuition. You have like extracurriculars, Spanish lessons, piano lessons. Your kids go to like gymnastics or whatever the fuck. Education and those kinds of things, right? Then built into the chart, there's charity and gifts. Yes, you should. It's good karma to give back, and your blessings will come back to you tenfold. So you really should, give to charity. And I mean, don't do it with the intention of getting things back, but you just should, like, spread the wealth. It takes a village, right? Everybody knows we're all in collective agreement that life is expensive right now, right? I tweeted this one day, like, when did we, particularly my black folk, when did we collectively, like, release the idea that it takes a village? Like, everybody, the U.S. as a whole, our individualism score is top of the charts. Not chef's kiss, because it's actually terrible, but, like, top of the list. But when did we as a community decide, fuck that, it doesn't take a village, I can get there myself? Like, no, love, you really can't. Spread the wealth. Charity. And then you have 3 other sections of MISC. Me, I have a MISC obligations. These are just like random things that aren't regularly occurring, but maybe this month I am obligated to pay it. What's in my MISC obligations? Like if I buy a wig and I do the PayPal pay in 4. MISC obligations, because it's an obligation. I have to pay that payment, but it's not something, it's like a random payment for that month. Get me? MISC fun. I went out on a date night. I was thinking I wouldn't have to pay nothing because you asked me out on the date. I was wrong. I had to pay this amount out of pocket, but it was still fun, MISC fun. You went to the carnival that weekend, and in Dallas, the fair is still around. Is it still around? This last weekend might have been the last weekend. But, like, you can put the fair in there, blah, blah, blah. And then just general MISC. Everything else. Right? Okay. Now this, and then as you fill in the charts, it will create these other things and blah, 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 blah. And even here, you have a little comments for your month. You can, at the end of each month, you can reflect on what you did well, what you can do, what you can spend less on, and then set a goal for the next month. But that's really, as much as this whole chart is visual and like it is a breakdown, here is where here is where the logic comes in for me, right? For me. Because the chart, again, I can just fill in the numbers and be like, yep, I put $500 to the side, but that it actually charged my account for $25 and da-da-da, right? It's one thing to just track numbers. Down here is where you get into the nitty gritty, and to me, how you should set up the rest of the chart, right? So say you start with, and here's part of how I'm going to go about it if you contact me. So here's a little preview of what we're going to do, right? As we're discussing, blah, 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 we're into the swing of things. I'm going to ask you what your priorities are, right? You're going to tell me rent, bills, car payment, children's school, right? Let's just say. And that's really it, right? Like, these are all my priorities. What are other things that just will come out of your account or things that you do? Send mom money. You send your mother money, so much money every so often. What's something else that you do that's a priority of yours? I don't know. Say you're in like a sorority or something. Shout out to my Divine Nine folk. Say you have to pay your dues, right? You have a savings, and even if you don't, you want to establish a savings, correct? You want to say, rainy day. Wow, can I type? Rainy day fund. Emergency fund. Vacation. Right? What is your source of income? XYZ stores, right? So then we're going to go through each one, right? You're going to say, my rent is, what did I say I was going to do? My rent is $800. My car payment is, I don't know, what are these car payments? $125. Towards the children's schools, they have like scholastic things. They have like school trips. They have da-da-da. Say, maybe not every month, but say, okay, per month, my child for school needs $75. Let's say $65. Every so often, I send my mom $100 per year. I don't know how people pay dues, like per year, per 6 months, whatever. For the year, my dues are $350. In my rainy day fund, I want $500. No. In my rainy day fund, I want $1,000. In my emergency fund, I want $500. Emergency fund is going to be, I got a flat tire, I need a new tire, I got to get towed from somewhere, I'm a little short on the rent, whatever, right? Whatever you consider an emergency. Vacation, whereas rainy day fund would be more like long term. Like, this is the money I'm going to use to renovate my house when I buy a house. Or however long or short term you want to do it. Cool. Vacation. Speaking of which, I know a great travel agent if you need one. Tell them Tiana sent you. We could talk about it in the comments too. Vacation. I'm going to an all-inclusive for a full week in Greece. Greece doesn't have all-inclusives. Give me an island. Aruba. We're going to Aruba for a week. We're staying at an all-inclusive. Flights included. Travel agent gonna tell you flights included, round trip flights, all-inclusive for a week. King suite is gonna be $1,350. You get, whether you get paid semi-monthly, bi-weekly, whatever. You get 2 checks a month, right? Even though bi-weekly and semi-monthly are not the same thing. But bi-weekly is bi-weekly, every other week. Semi-monthly is twice a month. So like the 5th, you could pay the 15th and then the last day of the month. But you get $2,000. Each check is $1,000 from XYZ stores, right? We're going to build out your priorities. We're going to build out what you have to pay for, what you want to do, and work from there, right? That's where we come over here. Like I said, each check is $1,000, right? You want to break up your payments. Most people will, like, say if their rent is $800, they will pull $800 from the second check and only leave themselves with $200 for the next 2 weeks. Like, that's What are you going to do with that, love? So it's smarter to break it up. So, right, say, you know your rent is $800. Me, personally, I don't think your rent should be more than half of the money that you take home in a month, right? How close to half you want that to be is up to you. So if I'm making $2,000 a month, I want my rent to be no more than $950. But for these solid number purposes, we're going to use $800, right? So then out of this check, I would take half the rent. Out of this check, I would take half the rent. Bam. Rent is covered. I have a roof over my head. Bare minimum, I have a roof over my head. Right? Oh, we didn't even do bills. Right? Say your utilities and everything combined, water, electric, everything you pay for, whatever, right? You can break it up line by line, or just for this purposes, we're going to include it all in one. Electric and water, I don't know, each month, let's say $150, whatever. Again, you would want to break that up to 75. Now, it can change depending on, like, it's due the 7th of every month. It's due of every month. You can alter it. So, like, say, you can have this check, the full 150 come out of this check, and that be zero. Or if you're efficient in your budgeting, you can keep track of the 75 and 75. Right? Me in particular, also, one thing I will do, like if you're working with me, I'm going to actually, that's what these colors here are. I'm going to ask you, what are your non-negotiables? These have to get paid. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Most of the time, you're going to tell me rent, bills, car payment, non-negotiable, have to be paid. Cool. Those are your non-negotiables. Those are the things you fill out in your budgeting chart first. So we've done rent, we've done bills, car payment. Well, no. Well, yeah, we can do that. Sometimes I'll say, what are your non-negotiables? Then, like, what are your second-tier non-negotiables? Sometimes people have car payment and second-tier non-negotiable. It just depends on you and your life, right? Car payment is $125. Let's say we take the full $125 out of this check. Okay? Then you start to fill in the other things. Things like regularly sending your mom money, or the kids, or the money that your kids need for school. Those become like your second tier per se. Don't go by these colors that's filled in according to something else. Go by these, right? So then second tier, we're going to say school and mom, right? School, each month your kids need $65. You can take it out of your second check, or you can do 35 and 30. However you want to do it, right? But for the sake of the example, let's just say it all comes out of the second check. You're prepared for the next month. They're going to be like, Mom, I need this, or Dad, whoever, parent, I need $65 for school because I want to buy lunch and I want to do this, and then XYZ is coming. Bam. You know that they're going to need $65 next month. So this month, you already have it allotted in your budget, right? Now, dues, I kind of sort of would put in MISC because it can change, right? So if your dues are per the year, then it would be the $350 divided by the 12 months, correct? Cool. Round up. We can round up. We'll do whole numbers. So say it's $30 each month. Depending on, look at each check right now, right? The first check has $400 left. The second check has $460 left. Again, depending on how dues have to be paid, blah, 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 fill them in accordingly, right? Your mom or the money that you send to your mother, same thing. It can all come out of the one. You can split it up 25-75, 50-50, right? However you want to do it. Let's say you split it 50-50. Actually, no, let's not. Yeah, let's say you do 50-50. Now, those are your priorities covered. Second tier priorities covered. Now is all the miscellaneous things and all of the like These can change. These are what I want to do, but if I can't do them this month, then I just can't do them because you have priorities. Hello? So here would be like rainy day, emergency, and vacation, right? Vacation can be paying off the trip. Vacation can be trip shopping. Hello? So that's one thing that I have to budget for right now is I'm going to Bermuda on a cruise in a couple months. And I need new clothes. Duh. Right? Okay. So now we're doing like all the fun things and all the like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to accomplish. Okay? So rainy day fund. You want $1,000 in your rainy day fund. Each month, commit to a certain number that you are going to put in your rainy day fund. So if your goal is $1,000, what are we in? At the end of October. So let's say we're in November. Say we're in November right now. By June, by summer next year, you want to have $1,000 in your rainy day fund, right? That's November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. Switch. June, right? 8 months. You got 8 months to save $1,000. Each month, say, bare minimum, I'm gonna put. You can do whatever amount you want to do, because you can change it per check. You can do da. Each month, look at it from a month perspective, not to each check, because then that it partially gets you out of the living check to check, but not completely. Look at it in a month perspective. Each month, I'm going to save $100, right? Now you're trying to reach 1,000 in 8 months. Say bare minimum, each check. Hold on, let's put in this one. I'm gonna save $100 per month towards my rainy day. Now, say you work some extra hours or you get some overtime or something, so this first check isn't $1,000, it's $1,250. Now you have a little bit of extra money that you can designate, if you want to, put it in your rainy day fund. So now instead of $100 this month, you can put, how much extra would you want to put if you make $1,250? I don't know. You can put an extra $75, right? I would recommend, if you make extra money, have a little cushion towards your rent, but these are your priorities. You can designate them however you want to, right? So let's go back. Okay. Each month, bare minimum, I'm gonna save $100 towards my rainy day fund. Each month in my emergency fund, I'm gonna save $50. Easy, right? Until you build all the way up to $500. From there, you can change it. These are the things that fluctuate depending on what you can do and what you want to do. Vacations have a deadline by which you pay them. So they're kind of, they are obligations. They're not kind of. They're obligations, but they have a timeline to them. You should, if you can, you should pay most of it off in the early times, because then it becomes crunch time at the end. Let's not get into it. I'm going on a cruise in May. By April 5th, my $1,350 has to be paid off. So we're in November, December, January, February, March, April. 6 months. You got 6 months to pay $1,350. You have just above $600 left. Are you going to put the full $600 towards the trip? No. Why? You have groceries to buy. You have other miscellaneous payments, blah, 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 right? The smaller things of which can be tracked here. And then as you fill in these numbers, the charts will track for you how things went, where things went, blah, blah, blah. Right? So you don't have to necessarily keep track. You have to input the smaller details, but you don't necessarily have to keep track of the smaller details, right? Per se. I use that very loosely. Right? So say for each vacation, each month, I'm going to pay $300. So whether you want to do 200 this one, 100 this one, 150, 150, again, you break up the payments however you see fit. Or even if you do because you took more money out of this check than you did this check. So you want to put a more bulky payment in the second check. That's a tip that I do personally. I don't pull all of my large payments out of one check, because then I have little money to play with from that one check. I like to make them pretty much even. And then shopping. All you did was you spent, plus shipping. If you're online shopping, life is expensive, right? So let's say you spent $125 on your trip. So now you still have, for the whole month, for the month, you have the 75 plus the 110. You got 185 left to play with, right? For the month. Out of your first check, you'll have $75 left. Get a little extra food. Get the groceries that you don't normally get. Do it however you want to do it, right? But for the month, you have just under $200 left to play with. Bam. Now you have a budget. Now you know, okay, if I pay everything, I still got $100, $75 left to spend on me. Get a facial. Get a massage. Self-care is the best care, okay? Here's how you schedule in self-care in terms of the monetary things. There are other ways to do self-care. Watch my top 10 ways to do self-care video. Rephrase. I'm pretty sure that's called like top 10 self-care habits or something. Watch that too. Right? So now here, this is just me, how I have it set up. It won't necessarily be set up like this, and this is just because of how I did it with somebody else before. So remember we broke down your top priorities, non-negotiable. These have to get paid, right? That's your rent. Let me lean back over this way. Non-negotiables, your rent, your utilities. Say your emergency fund is non-negotiable, right? Just because of how I had it set up, like really this one would be car payment, but like whatever, right? All of your non-negotiables, these have to get paid, come out to $1,000, right? That leaves you with $1,000 left out of your checks, right? Because you bring home $2,000 each month. Your non-negotiables are $1,000. Cool. Your second tier non-negotiables are your car payment, the money for school, for the kids' school, the money you send to your mom, right? Second tier non-negotiables come to just under $300, right? So of the $1,000 you had left, now you pay your second tier non-negotiables. Now you have $700 left. Where you designate that $700 after the fact is up to you. But without a doubt, your non-negotiables and your second tier obligations are covered. Easy. And then you can come in here and you can fill in the numbers and it'll track everything. I would show you my budget so you can like actually see it, but I don't want y'all all in my business like that. And I can't show you other people's budget, obviously. So yeah, that's really the basic on how to budget and just best tips, best practices. It's really the first step to not living paycheck to paycheck. People aren't giving that information nowadays. People are giving, you need all these streams of income and here's the different streams of income you can create, but no one's giving you the how to maintain all these streams of income, these streams of income and ways to best use them to your advantage. But don't worry, me and you, we gonna get into it, love. If you need help personally with your budget and your finances, hit me up. I'm a freelance bookkeeper. I am educated, so I know what I'm doing. And yeah, we can get into a bunch of different things. As a bookkeeper, I do more than personal finances. I do bank reconciliations. I do investment portfolios. We can get into all that, love. I'm educated. I know what I'm doing. So that's all of that. We're going to get into, like I said, I want to spread my financial literacy. So we're going to have a whole series. I'm going to teach you how to do like how to balance your checkbook, how to do like debits and credits, how to create an investment portfolio, what you should even be looking for when you're dealing with investments, like calls, puts, options. There's a lot that goes into investing. The bare minimum is something as simple as a budget. Everybody has a budget because everybody has money that they need to spend. If you need help with that, last time, not to say it again, but let me know. I got you. I promise. But yeah, that's it. If you made it to the end of the video and you don't know me, hi. My name's Naori. Stick around. You love it here. Duh. Embrace being a star. Subscribe. Follow my socials. Yes. My socials do not give. I'm very well educated and I know what I'm talking about. But best believe, one, that's how you know social media is not real. But two, there's a lot of layers to me, love. Naori shows her face the most on Instagram though, so follow me there. I'm on Twitter every day because Twitter is my go-to app. Twitter is the best social media app. I don't care what nobody say. And I be on Snapchat, so get at me however you want to get at me. I will. It's no excuses November. Period. I'll see you on my next video. Bye.